You wake up tired, 8 hours of sleep, and still exhausted. By 3 in the afternoon, you need sugar. Not want, need. At night, your body is done, but your mind will not stop. You have been told this is burnout, aging, just a rough season. You have been told to take a vacation, drink more water, and get better sleep. But the vacation ends, and nothing changes. Because the problem is not your schedule, it is not your discipline. There is a chemical running through your body right now, one your body designed to save your life, that has been stuck in the on position for so long, it is systematically dismantling you from the inside. And the terrifying part is this: you may feel completely calm, and it is still happening.
If you want the hidden science of the human body, not generic health advice, hit subscribe. Now, let's dive in. Inside your brain, sitting at the base, is a system that functions like a 911 dispatcher. It monitors everything: temperature, blood sugar, emotional threat, physical danger, sleep deprivation, even the flickering light of a screen at midnight. The moment it detects something it classifies as a threat, it sends one message to your adrenal glands, 2 small organs that sit on top of your kidneys. Sound the alarm. What those glands release is cortisol. And cortisol, in its original design, is a biological masterpiece. It floods your body with energy. It sharpens your focus. It redirects blood towards your muscles and away from anything the body considers non-essential in a crisis: digestion, immune defense, reproduction. It is designed to help you survive the next 60 seconds. Think of cortisol as an emergency power reroute. When the building loses main power, generators kick on and send electricity only to the critical systems: the lights in the hallway, the emergency exits, the security panels. Everything else goes dark. That is cortisol doing exactly what it was built to do.
You have felt this. It is the moment your heart rate jumps before a difficult conversation, the sudden clarity when something goes wrong and you snap into action. That is your 911 dispatcher doing its job perfectly. But here is the part nobody tells you. That 911 dispatcher, the one managing your cortisol response, cannot tell the difference between a life-threatening predator and a passive-aggressive email. It cannot distinguish between running from danger and sitting in traffic while running late. It cannot separate a genuine emergency from a skipped lunch, a harsh comment, a bad night's sleep, or a phone notification at 11 p.m. To your nervous system, threat is threat. And every time it detects one, real, imagined, physical, or emotional, it sends the same signal: sound the alarm. Most people experience this as a low hum they cannot quite explain. Not panic, not crisis, just a body that never fully relaxes, a jaw that is always slightly clenched, shoulders that never fully drop, sleep that never fully restores.
And most people have been told this is just who they are: a high-strung personality, a worrier by nature. It is not. Research consistently shows this is a measurable physiological state, and it is doing real, trackable damage to your body while it runs. Here is where this becomes critical, because cortisol's emergency reroute was never designed to run for weeks, months, or years. When the generator that was meant to be temporary becomes your permanent power source, the circuit breakers begin to fail. The first system to show strain is your blood sugar regulation. Cortisol signals the liver to release stored glucose, fuel for the emergency. This is brilliant during a real crisis. But when cortisol is chronically elevated and there is no physical exertion burning that fuel, blood sugar rises and falls in patterns that research frequently associates with intense carbohydrate cravings, particularly in the mid-afternoon window, when cortisol naturally dips and blood sugar crashes alongside it. When this circuit breaker fails, this is a primary driver of that 3 o'clock sugar craving that feels completely out of your control. You have felt this. It is the moment you are not even particularly hungry, but something in you needs something sweet or salty with an urgency that feels almost physical, because it is physical. It is your blood sugar responding to a cortisol signal your body sent out hours ago. The second system to degrade is fat storage.
Cortisol signals the body to store energy in reserve because in an emergency, the next meal is uncertain. But it does not store that energy evenly. Emerging evidence consistently shows chronic cortisol elevation appears to contribute to preferential fat storage around the abdomen, visceral fat, the fat that wraps around internal organs rather than sitting beneath the skin. When this circuit breaker fails, this is a primary driver of stubborn belly fat that does not respond to calorie reduction alone. Most people experience this as a deep frustration. They change their diet, they exercise. The number on the scale moves slightly, but the midsection does not shift, and no one explains why. The simplified version of what is happening is this: you cannot out-diet a chronically activated emergency system. The body's priority is survival, and survival to cortisol means holding on to every reserve it has.
But the blood sugar damage is only the beginning. Cortisol operates on a natural daily rhythm. It is meant to peak sharply in the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking. This is called the cortisol awakening response, and then gradually decline throughout the day, reaching its lowest point in the late evening, so that melatonin, your sleep signal, can rise and take over. Think of it like a traffic system for your nervous system. Cortisol is the green light, melatonin is the red light. They are designed to operate on opposite schedules. When one is high, the other is low. They do not run simultaneously. But when cortisol is chronically dysregulated, when the 911 dispatcher has been sending alerts all day, when light exposure at night tricks the system into thinking the day is still active, cortisol does not lower in the evening the way it should. And when cortisol stays elevated past its intended window, melatonin cannot rise properly. The traffic signal stays green when it should turn red. When this circuit breaker fails, this is a primary driver of lying in bed exhausted but unable to switch your mind off.
You have felt this. It is the moment your body is completely done, heavy, slow, aching for rest. But your thoughts keep moving. You replay conversations. You run through tomorrow. You check your phone once, then again. Your body wants to stop. Your cortisol signal says the emergency is not over. And here is where the loop closes in on itself and becomes dangerous. Poor sleep is one of the most potent activators of the next day's cortisol response. Research consistently shows that disrupted or insufficient sleep appears to elevate cortisol the following day, which drives blood sugar dysregulation, which drives cravings, which drives fat storage, which drives fatigue, which drives another night of poor sleep, around and around. And most people have been living inside this loop for years without a single person connecting the symptoms for them. You are not broken. You are stuck in a biological loop that was designed for a world that no longer exists. A world where emergencies lasted minutes, not months. There is one more circuit the body shuts down during chronic cortisol elevation, and it is the one with the longest-term consequences.
During an acute emergency, cortisol suppresses immune activity. This is intentional. Running from a predator is not the moment to mount an inflammatory response. The body makes a ruthless calculation. Survive the next 60 seconds first. Deal with the infection later. But when cortisol runs chronically elevated, later never comes. The immune system, the body's internal maintenance crew, never gets the clearance signal to do its work properly. Research consistently associates long-term elevated cortisol with disruption to immune regulation, which appears to contribute to the kind of low-grade background inflammation that underlies a wide range of chronic symptoms people carry for years without explanation. Most people experience this as a general sense of something being wrong that they cannot name. Frequent minor illness, slow recovery, a body that feels inflamed, stiff, and reactive in ways that seem disproportionate to what they have actually done.
And most people have been told this is just getting older. It is not just that. A depleted immune system operating under permanent cortisol suppression is running a maintenance deficit, and the body keeps the bill, which means the answer is not another supplement, a stricter diet, or forcing yourself to think positively. You cannot willpower your way out of a biological alarm system that will not turn off. The body's 911 dispatcher does not respond to good intentions.
It responds to specific, measurable signals that tell it, consistently, repeatedly, that the emergency is over. Your body is not failing you. It is protecting you from a threat that is no longer there. Here is exactly how we start sending it a different message. For the first 60 minutes after waking, no screens of any kind. Not your phone, not a television, not a laptop. Replace that window with 10 minutes of outdoor light exposure. Stand near a window at minimum, step outside at best. Here is why this matters biologically. Cortisol's natural morning peak, the cortisol awakening response, is partially regulated by light signals received through the eyes. Natural morning light helps calibrate the timing of that peak and its subsequent decline throughout the day. Artificial screen light at this window sends competing signals to the same system, appearing to blunt the natural rhythm and contributing to the flattened energy and sharper afternoon crashes many people experience. Between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., eat a small protein and fat combination, a handful of nuts, 2 boiled eggs, or full-fat Greek yogurt. No refined carbohydrates. Aim for this at the same time each day. Here is why this matters biologically. The mid-afternoon cortisol dip is a natural feature of the daily rhythm. When blood sugar is already unstable from the morning's cortisol activity, this dip appears to sharpen the crash and intensify cravings. A small protein and fat intake at this window helps buffer blood sugar stability and reduce the intensity of the cortisol-driven hunger signal that so often ends in a sugar decision people regret an hour later.
90 minutes before your intended sleep time, eliminate overhead lighting and switch to warm, dim light sources only. Screens stop 60 minutes before sleep, or switch to the warmest possible display setting with brightness reduced to the lowest comfortable level. Here is why this matters biologically. The traffic signal relationship between cortisol and melatonin depends on the brain receiving a clear drop in light stimulation as evening progresses. Blue spectrum light, the dominant output of phone screens, LED overheads, and most modern lighting, signals the same neural pathway that morning light uses to elevate cortisol. Using it at night actively delays melatonin onset and appears to sustain cortisol elevation past its natural window. This is not sleep hygiene advice. This is a direct intervention on the cortisol-melatonin handoff. Once per day, for a minimum of 15 minutes, do one activity that requires no output and carries no stakes. A slow walk without headphones, sitting outside, reading fiction, nothing that generates a to-do list. Here is why this matters biologically. The HPA axis, the hormonal pathway that governs cortisol release, appears to downregulate more effectively during periods of genuinely low cognitive and social demand. Research suggests that the body's capacity to reduce cortisol after a stressor is trainable, and that consistent daily exposure to low stimulation rest periods appears to support the sensitivity of that recovery response over time. This is not relaxation for comfort. This is a biological recalibration practice.
Your body was not built to be in permanent emergency mode. The alarm was designed to save you, not to run forever. And now that you understand the system, you have something most people never get: a biological reason to change the environment, not just the effort. Before you go, which one of these has been your experience? A, waking up exhausted even after a full night of sleep. B, that intense mid-afternoon craving for sugar or something salty. C, lying in bed completely tired but unable to switch off. D, all three. Drop your letter in the comments. You might be surprised how many people are carrying the exact same thing. Share this with one person who has been told their symptoms are just stress or just aging. One share could give them the answer they have been looking for.